That maple branch did not flex. Yeah, you're gonna have plenty of white pine out here.
It was about 50, 60 years ago. This whole spot right here was nothing, just this pure white sand. I got pictures.
Wow.
Property from the 30s and the 40s. And like from here all the way that way, this whole thing was just white.
Wow.
Nothing in this spot right here. And just from activity of walking and moving and the squirrels and stuff, all this all came up.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah, you could sit up in that, where you kind of went up where the hump there and you come down. You could stand up there and see all the way across.
Wow.
So.
Yeah, well, that's a tribute to the regeneration of,
yeah,
you know,
everybody
the
says,
ecosystems.
don't cut your trees down. Don't cut.
Yeah,
your
they'll
trees
never come back.
down. Yeah, and it's like this has come back thicker.
So this was pure sand, and as you can imagine, white pine and black oak prefer sand. In 50 years, the trees that were here have propagated this with acorns and white pine seedlings. You know, that tall white pine back there was maybe here 50 years ago, maybe. I could step it off. I can probably, that's not 39 feet away. So I can get to that far one. I can get out there and get that topped off without wrecking stuff. He doesn't want me to wreck these white oaks under here, which that should be good. And then I can still swing over here. I can get all this topped out. I can get the top topped out. I can come down and back off a little bit and then top this out. All right, I got a plan. Almost forgot my cameras this morning. It's like anytime I'm doing a solo gig, I gotta do it. Hey, look at this, folks. Second time in the lift, I always forget to hook in. All right, just gotta avoid that outrigger. Should be easy enough. You can make no. All right, we're just gonna back cut this. This should flip over and avoid everything. Just sort of hinge it. Yep. All right. Close. Go straight up. Be nice and close to this. That works. Always make your second cut on the part that's staying, because if this breaks, your saw is free. Now let's do an example of the opposite. Okay. We're gonna cut on the part that goes. Now let's break this. Look at that. Do you see that? So my saw was in the side that was leaving, and it just takes that much to hang on to your saw and take it out of your hand. So always make your second cut on the bottom. So when that breaks free, if it breaks prematurely on you, your saw is staying with you. How is that holding on? Look at that. I don't know what. Did I not cut through that? That's crazy. Cut in there. I had a lot of meat left. Okay, I think I'm getting pretty close to just being able to drop stuff off of this. Hinge on the bark. Yeah, plenty. This one, maybe I'll make a break cut again. All right. We just let it hinge on the rotten sapwood. So we got quite a bit of sap rot on this white oak. We had a little lesson on all of this fungi. This is sap rot, shelf fungus here, and so with all this sapwood, the sap rot on the top side of these laterals, or that one, that would be a dangerous tree to climb because the outer circumference of the tree is weakened. Now white oak, heartwood, is very durable, and maybe you've got enough, you know, enough strength to climb that. You probably do. Your spikes aren't going to treat you very well. Your gaffs are not going to stick in that very well. But, you know, would I climb that? I might, because it's white oak. But if that's Norway maple or silver maple that doesn't have heartwood, that sap rot, you don't know how deep that goes. And you climb up on a maple like that, or a hickory, and you're going. You see sap rot on a hickory like that, do not climb it. You know, white oak and hickory are two entirely different things. All right, we're gonna take that. See that little crack in that maple? We're gonna prune that. Oh, it didn't quite come off. Ugh. And we made another one. Oh well. He said he didn't care about that. All right, we can probably get this to turn over. Might be a little long. Oh, we got her around. So here's my point. I had a pretty narrow notch here, but we had a lean, and the length of the piece was the largest factor on whether or not the piece got over and landed flat. Length of piece trumps, you know, width of notch. That's my opinion. And it proved out right there. Now we had a lean in our favor too, you know, so if that was a straight up and down trunk, maybe that doesn't quite land flat, but on the lean it did fine. All right, so I'm not even extended. I was gonna set up under this limb thinking I had to get farther, but I think I'm not even extended yet. I think I'm gonna get right to that. I need to get right to there so I can drop that piece off. I'd like to cut that one off so I can be clear of that little set of, that's a red oak. And we can get out there and drop that off right in between those two. Yeah, this is gonna work. One set, one kill. I think I'm just gonna keep going down. Actually, I might go up, switch my saws. I think I can put that right down there. Boom. So, hey, a little safety issue. I often use the red button to shut this off. If you leave that red button in, nobody can bring you down on an aerial rescue. So my son tells me use the stop button. I have muscle memory using this, but I have to remember to pull it back out. The stop button, this stays out. So when this is started, that's how I should shut it off, right there. Now as it is, there's no one here to rescue me. I mean, this other guy who doesn't know how to operate this, you know, he's got to make a phone call. But, you know, we're not going to have anything happen. I've set the lift up far enough away. All right, we got to lay this down. We got a pretty heavy lean. We got white oak, so we got consistent holding power. I think I'm going to make my notch so that this flattens out. It's going to be a fairly narrow notch because I want the hinge to break. And I'm gonna make sure I'm, you know, at or behind the apex, because I'm probably gonna stay on the cut because I want this to come free. I don't want this to stop and like hinge this way somehow and come over here and tag my lift. I want this to go, and I want it to go right there. So we'll make a narrow notch pretty much perpendicular to the ground. So this comes off and we get it to go butt first right there. Ideally, I would like it to land almost in its orientation that it is now, which we could do a straight single kerf. We could do a kerf drop cut. In this situation, that might be the best thing. Maybe I don't want anything to come over because I don't want to tag that oak out there. All right, so I came here, I eliminated this over here, and it sat on this kerf and it stayed there until I cut this. So you got amazing holding power on this. And so I came in, made sure I eliminated this side first. It sat that, well, it was just sitting on here. It didn't even move. I'll have to recheck the film, but I don't think it moved left to right. And then I stayed on the cut and I cut it free. And I knew I didn't have a risk of my saw leaving because I made sure I was at or behind my kerf. So that was a good drop. This is gonna come apart nicely, folks. Push the stop button. All right. So here I can save fuel. I mean, this guy doesn't care what I cut up. I don't have to make small pieces. So I can take this cut right down here. Now we got a lot of legs in the tree here. Make sure I don't have any metal. This one I can notch. I can do an open notch. Good hint. Oh, see that didn't break off. All right, I think a straight drop cut. Now, let's pretend we have to avoid the butt. So, you know, we landed safely out from that. And again, I stayed on the cut. Now look, I lined that up. Look at, I cut it a little bit of a C. And that's probably, the saw isn't cutting crooked. That was me, I was kind of pushing it. And when I was pushing it, I curved it. So I almost curved into, you know, the danger zone. I didn't overcut it, it broke free before that was a risk. But I'll have to pay attention to that. I'm pretty sure this is cutting straight. Let's see. All right, so yeah, the saw is cutting straight. So that was me pushing the cut, trying to cut fast. And I actually curved the kerf. And it could have got my saw caught. Not a high likelihood, but you know, maybe. I want to bring this part this way, because I want to avoid these young oaks. He's got a red flag on that oak. He doesn't want that damaged. So I can't have this on here. If I'm bringing this way, I'm threatening my lift. So we'll just cut this off. That'll be easy. I can just probably back cut that through. Oh, we got a little oak down there that he doesn't want to hit. So these are all offspring. I mean, this is a big white oak. This got good genetics. I mean, why it died, I don't know. We've been having a lot of white oaks die lately. On this sand, it could be drought, you know, and two-line chestnut borer. We had 3 years of drought in a row. So probably on this sand, that really hurt this big old white oak. So all this young offspring, they're good genetics probably. Little long for the distance. So I hit my chain brake. I always hit my chain brake. But that's a testament to always on your starting procedures to just make sure your chain brake's on. So I failed on that starting procedure on that one. I am a CTSP, believe it or not. I am not your super detailed CTSP. You guys all know the guys I'm talking about. Yeah, the super melancholy type A CTSPs. They're like, there's no variance in their demeanor, you know. There's no situational. It's the letter of the law, that's all it is. I'm not that guy. I'm sorry, I'm not that guy. All right, we've got to, now the question is this easier to put over there or is it easier to put over here? How much do I gotta move it? I think I can get it over here. From this angle, it's probably over here. I could notch it over there and maybe get it that way. But I think it notches this way. I remember that Look at that. It was kind of crooked, so it bounced a lot when it hit the ground. We missed this little guy with the butt, and we just wobbled that one. But that cherry, that little cherry kind of, this little cherry too, kind of gave us some buffer. So we did get that thing to come all the way over here, and it hit there, and then we had a bit of a violent bounce. So, you know, in a delicate yard, that would not be one you want to try. All right. But in this context, that was a good drop. That butt probably actually, I mean, I didn't see it. Maybe the camera caught it. But I would think that that came over and kind of dropped there, and it was mostly the tip that was bouncing around. Every oak tree is in good favor. That's awesome. Okay, we can probably drop that off. We can hinge that just that way and slide it down the backside of that cherry. All right, I'm gonna stay. Push your stop button, Kev. There you go. That's the way to do it. I'm gonna keep this on a reach so that I've got all this room. I've got to bring it this way, and we're gonna rake the backside of that cherry. That really doesn't matter, that cherry doesn't. Make sure I don't have any nails here that are gonna haunt me. And I kind of get a little tension on this. All right. I wanted to stay on. I dipped in on the backside first and then finished hard here, and this all broke away. So like I said, a red oak, I might have been afraid of a barber chair on that kind of lean. But white oak is a little more fibrous. You know, we got some deep tear, but it broke free. And it didn't split. Pretty thick hinge that went over there. Fit that right in there. I think we'll take this one off. I'm taking this in a different order than I thought I would. Okay, that one, we just have to move that way just a little bit. I'm starting to do it 3 times in a row. I'm getting a habit. You know, you gotta keep polishing yourself. You know, I'm coming up on 30 years in the industry, and I'm still noticing my mistakes, right? And some of those mistakes are from years of bad habit. You can't, some of these guys I think are just young guys that are being cocky. You know, like the 30-year-old that's really good. You know, he's a really good arborist, and he just thinks, you don't know what you're doing. It's like, that guy doesn't even know the mistakes he's making. He just thinks he's good all the time. Maybe he is. Maybe he is. I'm not good all the time. And I want to keep getting better. So that's why I talk these things through. All right, I got a piece of steel right there. Do I got any steel here? No. So we got a pretty good curve here. He doesn't care about this old stand. Maybe I want to kind of take a drop cut versus a hinge. If we bring that tip over, this butt could go in a lot of crazy places. So if I angle up from this side, like right like this, so that it goes that way, and maybe I'll open it up a little bit. I'll open up a little narrow notch here to get a little bit of drop that way, and then I'll stay on the cut and we'll get that to come over, but we'll kind of get the butt to come off, and maybe we'll just miss this tree stand if we put the hinge kind of on that side. All right, let's see. Let's test my theory. There's a chain brake. I tested it before. See that? Because I talked about it. Sure, I don't have a piece of steel over there. Is that not amazing? I got to be really happy with that. All right, let's analyze this. So I wanted to come in like this because I wanted this side to hang on last, because I wanted the tip to come this way, because we wanted to save that oak out there. And you see my tips were way out there. I would have tagged that. So I came in here, and it did. I can't wait to look at the film and see if it canted away from my saw. And then I stayed on the cut and I cut this free. We missed the blasted crappy tree stand. So if that was actually a target that I had to miss, I missed it. By angling this over here and kind of clearing that butt from that. And then it dropped pretty much butt first, so I'll have to see if there's a... Well, the butt struck that log right there, I think. So it didn't really make a mark on the ground. I think it hit that log and then teeter-tottered, and then the tips hit. But we hit the tips right in there. There it is, stuck in the ground. So right between the oaks we were preserving. Got to be happy with that. I think we'll get this stuff out from over my head. You know, I guess I might have been in a small amount of danger of something dropping on my head. Look at this. I mean, yeah, a little bit of danger. Okay, I've got my little oak down there I don't want to forget about. I think we can put this, we'll cut this out here. right, that's a good drop. This one we'll just back cut and put it by the trunk. Well, halfway to the trunk. All right, now we got that to avoid. If I dropped it straight down, that oak might be between the two points. But I think I want to angle it towards that cherry. Oh, I'm getting good at hitting that stop button. I might be a changed man by the time I'm done with this video. Oh man, that wanted to pinch me. I'm gonna open that up. Let's see where we're at. Yeah, we pretty much got an apex. Oh, we just moved it enough. I was cutting on this side because I wanted this to hold on last. I had a lot of hinge in there though, and it canted just enough that way to miss that tree. This one I just got to get out of the way. Yeah. Where am I at here? Yeah, we nailed it. I'm good on those Humboldts in the tree. On the ground is a little different story. All right, went over tip first, but that was okay in this application. Now, think about this. If that's a live branch, we would have wanted to make more of a drop cut with a vertical curve. Because if those branches are alive and they hit the ground at that angle, where do you think that butt is? That butt is 10 feet farther that way, or maybe more, in the side of the house or something. So like, you know, don't make open face notches if the landing zone is super critical. Make more of a drop cut where the movement of the branch is limited and you're dropping the branch more maybe in its orientation, or you know, maybe it'll still land flat, but a lot of times it falls in the orientation when you do a straight vertical drop cut. But anyways, that's something to think about. That landed right there only because the tips broke. If they were a springboard, you know, live white oak, that would have jumped maybe 20. I've seen them go 20 feet. Okay, we got a maple that we probably want to kind of protect. That's a nice, what is that? Is that a red maple? That's probably a silver maple variety. Look at how nice and straight that is if that's a silver maple. I'm not convinced it's a silver maple, but the flowers kind of look like silver maple. It's not super flaky. It's more like a red maple. I'm gonna say it's a red maple, Acer rubrum. It could be a hybrid, natural hybrid. Again, we made a little notch and my tips hit first. Not a big consequence with the dead branches, but it would be a consequence if it was live. Yeah, I say that's red maple. I think silver maple would have much more robust flowers. So this is probably an Acer rubrum variety. But doggone, that could be That could be a combination. There's probably some silver maples out here, but there's another one over there. Yeah, doggone, that looks like a silver maple variety. I've seen some silver maples that are open flower right now. They probably got frozen. Somebody's going to be happy. I didn't get Samaras this year. Like anybody's going to be upset about that. Okay, let's see if we can get this out of here without wrecking any. Of these maple branches. Oh, well, not any. We got one. We got one. Let's try this. See if we can get that to stay there. Well, it almost stayed there, but it was light enough to roll off. So there, it ended up working, even though it prematurely left. I wouldn't have tried that, you know, over a house. Just saying. But you know, this is the time to try stuff like that, because that right there is the kind of experience that tells you don't try this over a house. And at my age and tenure, sometimes you think, oh, I got this, I can do this. No, I was just reminded, don't do that. I mean, my consequence there was maybe break a branch on a maple in the woods and maybe not. And that's not a big consequence. Light up the echo. Alright, I left a little bit of hinge. That's alright. Pretty flat. Nice hinge. Wasn't gonna come off on me. I should just get this out of my way. Yeah, if I just take it in two, I can get them both to kind of land flat. I can put them right on those two logs. I just checked my chain brake again prior to the start. little tip first. That was a little low. That worked. So that was a little long. I could have went a little shorter. It would have been perfectly flat. So little misjudgment on my part. Could almost make a chair out of this. Just a nice little brake cut. There I was cutting a little crooked, but I think that was more, I was kind of reaching. Again, that was more my movements making that curve, make a curve like that. Okay, we're gonna cut that off, but I think I'm gonna cut it like right here, and we'll be just beyond that little branch, and then we can cut a little chunk off, and then cut this off. We'll go with the Echo. Buck and Billy says don't watch the kerf. In the tree, watch the kerf. I was looking up and I curved the saw because I was pushing the cut. I was looking up, it wasn't dropping, and I was pushing the cut. And I almost got on the wrong side of that. Not only did I hit the branch I didn't want to hit, I might have took my saw with me. Watch the kerf. Okay, so there's the example of I made a mistake, I broke a branch, and now I made a tree look better. Always make your client glad you made a mistake. There's your principle. You make a mistake, you own it, and you make the client happy that you made that mistake. It's a simple solution. Well, I take that back. It's not always simple. It's sometimes a painful solution. But it works. You make the client happy, you made the mistake. Period. Whatever it takes. Butt first, and you stay on the back side of the kerf, or right with the kerf. And there I was focusing on my cutting, so I wasn't pushing the saw and getting on the wrong side. So I almost, you know, could have scuffed up that oak there, but that was on the bounce. Okay, we'll get this last one out of the way. I'm gonna get at least 2 videos out of this trip here. This tree is gonna be one of them. The intro, and then this tree. So I left this side last, and that actually tilted this way. See, I was on the back side of the curve, but that's not a problem. My saw stays with me. Okay, I can't fell this here because I would wipe out those oaks. So we gotta go up. Let's grab this. Come back towards me. I'm gonna get this one off completely so I can have my lift on this side of that limb. All right, how do I not wreck more branches on that oak tree? I gotta go up high. That is the end. That is the end of the road for me. Now, can I get this to come all the way over here? I think I can with this. The sun's kind of tough, but with that weight out there, I can't. I could take a pole saw and cut that back weight off a little bit. But I think I can do it. Now, what we want to do, you know, our lean is kind of right there. Of course, the 92 footer, this gets done super easy. Okay, I got the wind straight in my face. That's good. The wind is holding this up to the degree that it can. But I'm gonna compromise this notch, and the compromise is not like some compromise of the hinge or anything. The compromise is compromising between the weight of the lean and where I want it to go. I want the branch to go this way. I can't make the notch 90 degrees all the way this way, 90 degrees to the lean. That's a fool's game. Your hinge is gonna break almost every time, especially with sap rot. I don't have the sapwood to hold this. A live branch, this is totally different. A dead one, but I can angle this 45 degrees this way. And I think I can get this to move and clear the top of that. Now, I want to make it down here as low as I can, because the longer this is, you know, 1 inch of movement here is several inches up there. So if I can add a foot, I should. And there might be some better holding wood in this collar here. All right, we want to keep this backside as much as we can. Okay, we're getting some movement. I want some holding wood. So I'm going to try to pull that off of there. Let's try to finish this. We got a little crack on the hinge. All right, so there we go. I had to finish it with my handsaw, right? That much. I had all this holding it. I saw a little crack right here. So it was trying to sit there. And so that little bit of back weight on my arm weight, and I was able to get that to go, and we totally missed that tree. So there was a compromise notch. And it went 45 degrees to the lean, and we had to do a little assist with my arm to make sure. It might have broke early if I wasn't holding it, but you know, you do what you got to do. Don't get too hungry with your chainsaw, be ready to finish with your handsaw. All right, I got a nice spot. I'm gonna kind of straight drop cut this. Or almost. I think we'll do a narrow notch because I don't want that branch to hit me. A little piece of wood in between, but that's okay. All right, perfect. It did come over because this hung on, and a little fiber, so that's kind of white oak characteristic. Okay, I'm gonna get this out of my way so I can put my lift right there, and then I reach out there and maybe make a cut there. I think I'm too close to take this whole thing and get it flat, so we're gonna, I think it's right about here that's a flat landing. It was a tad long, just a tad long, but that's okay. Hey, that was cool. So look at that. I thought it was thicker than my bar, but I had the whole thing. It was kind of it was eccentric. I could have got it. I thought it was like that, but I could have just went right through. It would have hinged on this crappy sapwood here. All right, now I have those to protect. I don't want to really break branches there if I don't have to. Yeah, I now think that is a red maple, Acer rubrum. Okay, we're gonna go out as far as we can. Okay. This is as far as I get. I'll sweep by that branch. If I break it, I think I can, I think I'll be able to get close enough to prune it. But I've got to get this to go a little bit this way and go between those two oaks. might flex. So much for flexing. That maple branch did not flex. I thought maybe in the springtime we might get a little bit of grace, but I missed the oak trees, so that's a good deal. Got my pole saw here. That's not an outlandish cut to have to make. I don't think I can reach that. I'm at the end of my hinge on the sapling. Nice. It had a little bit of heartwood that held on, and it hinged nicely just on that. All right, let's go get that maple branch before we forget about it. Wow. I'm gonna be able to prune that. Use my longer bar. I get it with a shorter bar. Perfect. Alright. Oh, you got me some water. Good man.
Summer heat and tundra cold and throwing a storm of three. Stakes are high, there's always a risk when you're playing the game of trees.